Okay, now under category of platforms, want to invite up onto stage Gil. Where's Gil? Oh, there he is, down the front here, who's very much looking at off-site marketing and off-site platforms. And so we're going to talk about crumbling cookies and rising giants. So, Gil, over to you, and here we go.
There we go. Okay, cool. Thanks, Simon. It's great to be here again. Thanks for having me, everyone. So today I'm going to take a little different twist because I present on this concept at the previous conferences, but I'm going to take a different angle, right? And it's going to be about first-party data and the revenue opportunity of first-party data for portals. So we've all heard the hype over the past few years about cookies being deprecated or being removed, tracking in the web becoming more constricted and restricted. But what's the hype and what does it actually mean? Okay, so let's take a look at a very simple example of technically what it means. It's important. Okay, and you'll see in brackets there, third-party cookies. So what's a cookie? A cookie, so let's say you're on Google and you search for watches. What Google do is they drop a cookie, meaning a little file that lives on your browser related to Google that just says, Gil searched for watches. Okay. Now, and that's great, right? And that's very useful. It's useful because it enhances the user experience. Because next time I'm on Google, I'm logged in. I can see a trend history about watches. I can see what I've searched before. And it's, the purpose of cookies as it was designed initially was to enhance the experience for the browser to remember my engagement with Google. Okay, but cookies have been used in a third-party way because what browsers have allowed to date is the ability for Google to actually take a look at what cookies are on your browser across all the domains that you've ever visited. Okay, those are third-party cookies. Those are cookies that have been dropped on your browser by everyone else. And using that, Google and Facebook and whatever it is can track you and what you're doing and the rest of the web. Okay, and they've obviously turned that into an advertising product. So the watch website can place an ad on the news website for watches. It's great. It's relevant. It's retargeting me, right? But what's allowed that to happen is the third-party cookies. Okay, that's a problem. Okay, it's a problem, and that is, if I just take a step back, that is what's being removed. Okay, so no longer can Google actually see what's going on across multiple websites because there's a data privacy problem with it. So what happened? How did this all happen? So over time, all of these browsers have been implementing these changes. Like Google, for example, are counting down to when they fully remove these third-party cookies. And by the way, first-party cookies are staying. That means, and that's for the user experience reason. Okay, so that's not going away. But Google is now kind of counting down to that. And we've all seen on the iOS on your device now, every time you install an app, it asks you, would you like this app to track you so that we can serve better ads? And most people say no. There's all of the regulators and all of the data privacy laws that have come across in multiple markets that are enforcing this. And then, of course, there's pressure from consumers who are far more aware now that that ability, that third-party tracking ability, actually encroaches on my data privacy. And for 30 years, Facebook and Google have been giving me a great free service, but in turn, they are mining my data and selling it in an advertising model. Okay, so what that means for consumers, this clampdown, it's a great thing for consumers because I now have control over who can use my data, and it gives me more privacy, and my experience feels safer on the web. For professionals, for advertisers, what does it mean? It means they have to change their strategy. They have to deploy new ad tech, and most importantly, they have to focus on first-party data. Okay, so that is now the value shift. Right, and we've all been part of this, whatever we call it. There's been this massive value shift in the past couple of years. If you have first-party data, you are sitting on oil. It's the new oil, right? This is what is going to bring in the advertising money. Okay, so what's first-party data? It is data about your own consumers or your buyers or your people that are using your service, who have registered with you, who have used your service in whatever way it is, who have left their details, who have inquired on properties, whatever it may be. That's your data within your environment, and it's first party, it's owned by you. Okay? So the trend that we have seen, and I've got a cool little graph just after this to show you the volumes of this trend, is that the businesses who own a lot of first-party data are the guys that are sitting on this oil, this advertising money in whatever form it is. Okay, those businesses are two. It's retailers. For example, Walmart and Amazon's businesses are multi-billion-dollar businesses when it comes to this, and it's marketplaces, right? It's portals like the businesses in this room. So what that actually means is that those retailers, they sell that first-party data in a form of advertising in two ways, or in two types of people, endemic and non-endemic. Endemic are their existing suppliers, so people who actually sell on their platform, or your agents. Those are endemic. And non-endemic is everyone else, right? And the powerful thing about marketplaces and portals, like the businesses in this room, is that you're sitting on first-party data about people in their buying journey. These are people, it's a very niche and unique and powerful first-party data, because it's people who open up their wallet to buy a property like they never have done in between 7 to 10 years, buying a property, doing their insurance, renovating their home, doing conveyancing and deeds transfer, right? And that is the unique position that portals are in, right? So this trend, the theme is called retail media, encompassing anything from retail to marketplaces. Again, the volumes are huge, right? The volumes are really big, and it's all in the form of media. And today, you or portal businesses are doing this already by selling advertising or boosted posts on your website, on site. Okay, but generally, so are all retailers, right? So Amazon, for example, you can sponsor your product and be at the top of the list. And again, the money, the advertising from the suppliers, endemic and non-endemic, are staggering, right? I'm just tight for time, so I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but we're talking about massive volumes, right? And I think this actually explains it better. And after this, I'm actually going to get practically into what does it mean for your portal. Okay, so in the last 30 years, the shift of media budgets went from traditional non-digital media to search, right? It took 14 years to grow that business from $1 billion to $30 billion for search. The next big wave was social media, Facebook and Instagram, and that took 11 years to grow that business. And in the past 5 years, the retail media business and getting onto that schedule at a media agencies where the money is now there at $30 billion. It's a massive market. Okay, so here's the new trend, and this is where it matters for portals. Right, retail media is now also going off-site. Okay, what does it mean off-site? Okay, so the first thing that we've got to realize is that we cannot ignore social media still. Even though it was the previous wave, it is the mechanism by which this happens. Okay, what we can't ignore is that 90% of most populations in different regions are reachable on social media, and those same people spend up to 3 hours a day on these channels, and most of those people come back every single day. Right, so your clients, your consumers, the people visiting your website for about half an hour a month, are spending 3 hours a day on these channels. Okay, so that's the first fact. The second fact is that off-site means that you can now create another sponsored product that usually is at the top of your list, but is then extended off-site, where you can automatically create an ad of the listing, remarketing your audience back on social media, driving the traffic back to your website. Right, so the revenue opportunity of tapping into those budgets is with off-site ads. Okay, here's some examples. Right, I'm going to talk about retail and about property portals. Okay, so Walmart, who have had this retail media product where they sell this advertising product, which is essentially sponsored posts on their website, but they've launched Walmart Connect, right, a $2.7 billion business. And that allows the same agents or sellers or whoever it is to sell, to remarket to their audience, but off-site, where they actually are spending their time, and drive the traffic back to their product. Right? Etsy is the same. So both they are selling a sponsored product off-site and they've grown by 168% in the last year, so it's a massive business for them. So it's both for their endemic audience, so their sellers, and bigger brands who want to target their audience. So REA have actually had this business, the off-site ads business called Audience Maximizer, for the past few years. My estimates, I think they're conservative, is that it's a $10 million business, right? So it's just, again, it's another sponsored product, but happening off-site, where you really can create more exposure for your agent's listing dramatically. Homely, Ed, you actually released an article about their product. One of our clients, they've seen up to 5x listing views by exposing their ads. And again, hopefully it's a big revenue driver for them as well. Right, so what does it mean for your portal? So what we've learned, if we just take a look at this as more of a global trend, is that this retail media trend is proven. It's been around for 5 years. It's a $30 billion business. And so it's beyond retail. It's also for any marketplace. Okay, and again, it's already manifested as sponsored products on site. The opportunity now is to go off-site with it. Right, and so there are two things that you can do off-site with your first-party data, essentially retargeting of your data. Number one, you can create these off-site products like REA's Audience Maximizer, which is a significant business, a great value add, a sticky product because you're actually creating the ability for agents to be on social media while controlling the traffic back to your portal. And secondly, you can build a non-endemic business, meaning the insurers, the conveyancers, the renovators, everything that's related to the home buying journey can also remarket to your audiences off-site, and there's a great way to sell that, in a media model where that makes up the $30 billion, right? So practically, telling you a bit about what we do at Flow, which is practically how you achieve it very quickly, is we've got the ad tech that essentially allows portals to design these packages in a way that they can bundle their subscription businesses and performance-based businesses as well, and sell these premium products to their agents to drive off-site exposure of their content, right? So there are technologies out there to help you do it. Turnkey, and again, Flow's got that capability across multiple channels. And similarly, in order to tap into the related brands on the property value chain, there's the capability to do so with technology as well by actually tapping into the marketplace of where these budgets are through the media agencies, right? And so I'll leave you with that. That is my, that's our product and how we get it done. I hope that was insightful for you, and we think that this retail media trend is in its early stages.
Gil, thanks for that. Quick question come up, then I've got a couple of questions for you. Who will be the biggest losers when the cookie apocalypse comes? And will they have to change their models? And if so, how?
Yes, I think. Well, if you ask it the other way, the winners are the ones with the first-party data, right? If a platform has not done a great job of capturing and tagging and finding the personal information of their own consumers and their users, there's going to be a loss of value.
Okay, so when we think about AI and how that applies to your business, right, and more particularly how it applies to the presentation of this off-site marketing, so targeting these areas. And we talked earlier before in the AI panel about this. One is, how do you target me with an ad that is customized to me, and can you use some of the social media's information about me to customize that ad specifically for me?
Yeah, for sure. So the capability of social media is to actually layer their data that they have and your first-party data. So if we know that Simon visited a portal and looked at property between 2 to 3 million euros with 3 beds and 2 baths, the capability exists to actually show Simon similar listings. The AI piece, that's something that's in our product, is the ability to actually enhance the creative that's generated, the image that's generating using the listings content, but enhance it to a point where you can actually personalize it create more of a click-through out of it because it's far more engaging and far better.
Okay, so there's a degree of personalization around it, about taking the data about not only the listing in this case, but also what I like,
Yes.
to customize it for me. Do you think you'll ever get to the point where literally every single ad for that listing has something different in it based on who is looking at it?
I'm not sure necessarily that it's going to be on an individual, which actually is a data privacy issue, but it will be on a segment level, and you can have many segments. So, for example, it can be, middle-aged people looking at certain properties, or younger moms and families looking at certain properties, and there could be hundreds of those segments. But yes, you can probably get it to a point where within those segments you can have variations that are far more personal.
Okay, because the more personalized it is, the better the click-through rate, the better the
More
engagement.
relevance.
Yeah, and the more relevant
Yeah.
the outcome. How do you charge portals? Assume it's a percentage of ad spend. If so, what's the percentage?
Yes, it is generally a media model, so it's all around a media budget. Our fees are a % of spend, but it's actually a revenue-generating product. So there's a revenue split with the portal on that percentage spend. And it varies per market because different markets have the capability to a lower CPM or cost of the inventory in a different market, but also if the portal is powerful in the markets and they've got very strong data, they can charge more for it. So it's a variable, but it is a percentage of spend. Yes.
Okay. Gil, thank you very much for sharing that information, and
Cool.
I love what you guys are doing.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Simon. Thanks, guys.
Oh, I need this.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.